What's up everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on Lexalexus. Today it is the championship predictions for match day 21, and how weird is it for me to say, but after this game week we're not going to have championship football for an entire month as the World Cup will be taking over all of our TV screens, which is absolutely crazy. It still feels surreal that we're having a World Cup at this stage of the season. This is the updated prediction league just before this weekend. If you guys want to be involved in the prediction league, the best thing you can do is comment your score predictions in the comments down below. It's that simple and it's free to do as well. If you guys love what you see, please give the video a like. It's just tremendously help the channel. Please do hit the subscribe button if you've not done so, as we're trying to push to 2,000 subscribers. It would be amazing if you could do that, and please also share the channel too. All of those things really do help the growth of this channel. But without any further ado, let's start predicting the final round of championship games before the World Cup. Let's start off with tomorrow's game, with Birmingham going up against Sunderland. This, I think, will be an interesting encounter between two teams in a mid-table position. Birmingham would have arguably felt a little bit disappointed not to get more in their recent form. You know, they've actually been doing rather well. However, they were leading for quite a fair bit, but it ended up that they actually salvaged a point against Swansea when that game ended 2-2 in their midweek games. For Sunderland, on the other hand, they were subject to a 1-0 defeat to Cardiff, which was a weekend game. So Sunderland have had a little bit more time to prep for this game, whereas with Birmingham, they're going off the back of a Tuesday midweek game. So naturally, some of their players may feel a tiny bit more fatigued than others. But as a prediction, I believe that Birmingham could still do something here. I think their midfield is ticking along really nicely. I think the unity of this squad is definitely evident in the way they play, and their confidence is still high as anything. Sunderland can surprise them, but I think Birmingham will sneak a win. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to the Blues. Let me know what you think of that score prediction in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Bristol City versus Watford. Now, give me this game a couple of months ago, I'd have been really confident with Bristol City actually, but just recently, they have completely fallen off a cliff with their form. They are winless in their last 4, but I would argue that they've been quite unlucky with a couple of their results. I remember when I last saw them live against Sheffield United, where they lost by 1-0 and they hit the woodwork twice. And if they can replicate that sort of home performance in this game, they may get a chance. I think, like any other day, their strikers would have scored 1 or 2 goals with the chances they made. They are, however, facing a Watford team who are looking much stronger with their form now. 4 wins in their last 5. And I think Slaven Bilic is slowly but surely going up the gears. I don't think we've seen the full potential for this Watford team yet. But as a prediction, I think based on how well and unified their attacking threat looks right now, I saw it recently against Reading as well, and they could have even scored even more goals than the ones that they did score. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Watford. I think their firepower is going to overwhelm this ever-changing Bristol City back line, but just doesn't seem to be consistent enough with the players they've got injured. So let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Cardiff versus Sheffield United. Now, this is going to be a very interesting reunion for Callum Robinson. He was a Sheffield United player, of course, scoring pretty much all of his Sheffield United goals in the Premier League against Chelsea, which was very, very painful for me as a Chelsea fan to uphold. He's playing some good football at Cardiff now, and despite Cardiff losing their last game against Hull, he was the one that definitely was one of the only players trying to limp Cardiff over the line. He scored and assisted Cardiff's second one, but they did throw a 2-1 lead away to lose 3-2. That game management is definitely something that needs to be worked on for this Cardiff side. Sheffield United was subject to a very shocking defeat in midweek against Rotherham, probably the shock of midweek. And you can go from beating Burnley, who've only lost 1 game, by 5-2, but you have to follow that up with a win against Rotherham, who have only won 1 away game leading up to this game. So they definitely had an off day in that one, and they missed a big chance because Sheffield United could have gone top of the table with a win. Burnley will be thanking Rotherham that they've managed to beat them in that game then. With this game, though, I do think it's actually closer than what most people suggest. I still think Callum Robinson, I definitely think he'll be hungry for revenge. Sheffield United, I still think will offer a fight. But I'm actually going to go for a 1-1 draw. I don't think a result that most people are expecting. I definitely feel I've gone a bit predictable in my predictions, which I think is why I'm not doing particularly well at the moment. So I'm going to throw a couple of curveballs in, and I'm going to say a 1-1 draw for this game. But I swear most of you would probably say Sheffield United, and I'll definitely have a sense of regret if I'm wrong. Next game to predict is Coventry versus Queen's Park Rangers. There's definitely one team I am a lot more confident in than the other right now, because both teams have got contrasting forms. Coventry, who are at home, are now in the top half of the table after being bottom of the table 5 game weeks ago, which is incredible. They picked up 3 wins in a row, and with 3 clean sheets in a row as well, which is outstanding. They, however, face a QPR team who've had 3 defeats in their last 4. So it would be very typical for Championship if QPR found a way to beat this Coventry team, who are full of confidence right now. And they definitely could get a goal within them with the fact that Chris Willock and Ilias are now working together again. As a prediction, however, I think Coventry will still keep a clean sheet, you know. I'm going to go for another 2-0 victory to Coventry. I think they'll get this one over the line. I think they're playing some really good football right now. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Huddersfield versus Swansea. So Huddersfield picked up a very crucial win in midweek, managing to beat QPR, who I was just talking about, by 2-1 in that one. I mean, QPR will be pleased that they scored their first goal in 3 games, but they lost to bottom of the table Huddersfield. So I know something's not right with QPR at the moment, but it could be discrediting Huddersfield's performance. They definitely held on and they kept the lead. And it's 2 wins in their last 4 actually, so it's not like that they're having long losing streaks and not winning games. But what they've got to do is win more consistently. Then I think Huddersfield might have a chance to get out of the bottom 3. They face a Swansea team where right now their form has not been as strong as it was. They've not won in their last 4 games actually. So Swansea definitely dropping down the table a tiny bit if they're not careful. But I do think Huddersfield have got a tendency to win, but then lose a couple on the trot. It's just been what their season's been about. So as a prediction, I'm going to follow this up with a Huddersfield defeat, and therefore say a 2-0 victory to Swansea. I think it'll be a little bit comfortable for them. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is Hull versus Reading. So both teams with contrasting results in midweek. Hull, of course, were involved in a 3-2 win over Cardiff, a 5-goal thriller in that game. Reading were involved in a 2-0 defeat to Watford, which I did watch live, and they really did not pose a threat, which does make me question if Reading are able to sustain good form again, because it does feel like that they're slowly but surely starting to deteriorate with their season. And it's a shame because they started so well, and I still think there's potential there, but it's 3 defeats in 4. There is a whole team who have managed to win their last game, their first 3 points under Liam Rosenior, and they're still unbeaten with Liam Rosenior going in as well. So definitely Rosenior putting the right step forward for this whole team. And I think naturally, despite Hull's home form being quite poor in general, I still think that Rosenior will get some new blood into this team, and I think they'll win. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Hull City. Let me know what you think of that prediction in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Luton versus Rotherham. So the big breaking news today, it's not officially been confirmed, but it's practically confirmed that Nathan Jones is going to be Southampton's new manager. And it's devastating news for Luton Town, who once again, lightning does strike twice. They lose their manager with other competition reaching out for him, and now he's made the move to the Premier League, which I think was an offer that Nathan Jones couldn't really turn down, honestly. I think they're looking at Gary O'Neill to potentially try and fill the shoes of Nathan Jones, which would be big shoes to fill. And I've got to say, the squad he's inherited is definitely a really good one, but is it sustainable? That is my only concern. But there's a Rotherham team, which a bit similar to Huddersfield, they can win one and then they can go and lose a couple on the bounce straight after that. And it's a great example of that is when they had that away victory against Stoke, and then they go through 3 or 4 games without a win, and then they managed to win their last away game against Sheffield United. So it is very typical of Rotherham to go through those peaks and troughs of form, and that's why their season has kind of fallen down just a tiny bit. They're still okay in around 14th, but they've got to be a bit wary for how close that bottom half of the table is. As a prediction, it's so difficult because we could see Luton react positively to this and try and impress the new manager coming in. or they can completely crumble. I don't think there's either in between. I think Rotherham's actually not a bad team for Luton to play up against. But as a prediction, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think it will be tricky for either team to edge something. So I'll go for a 1-1 draw. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is Norwich versus Middlesbrough. I think this game will be head-to-head. Norwich didn't play in midweek, didn't need to. But a team that did play midweek was Middlesbrough. And they had a very impressive 3-0 victory over Blackpool. Things definitely looking a little bit better with new managerial tactics going in with Michael Carrick. But I think Norwich is going to be a very, very tough game for Middlesbrough. It would definitely be a game that they will be challenged with, especially as Norwich have started to improve their form a little bit more. A win here could definitely solidify a good placement and could even get them top 3 if results do go their way. As a prediction, however, I do think Norwich, being at Carrow Road, I think they will squeak it. I think it won't be a convincing victory, but I think it will just be enough. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Norwich. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is Preston versus Millwall. So, I'm a bit scared that this one could end as a 0-0 draw, but to be fair, Preston have not had 0-0 draws for quite a while now. It seems like they've kind of ironed out their boring, lackluster 0-0 draws. And now they're starting to get a little bit more consistency with their results now. And as a result, in Preston being in 7th place on the table, they've won 4 games out of their last 5, which is why Preston are competing in around that stage of the table. A Millwall side, however, where despite winning a couple in a row, they're now winners in their last 3, drawing 2 in a row. And they've got to be a bit careful with that because obviously, as we mentioned last year, having too many draws was Millwall's downfall. As a prediction for this game, I'm going to slightly edge Preston actually. I think because they have that great momentum, I think definitely at deep delve they're getting more consistent results. So I'll go for another win for the Lily Whites and I'll go for a 1-0 win. I think it'll be pretty close though and not many goals. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is West Brom versus Stoke. So definitely West Brom are improving. They've had 2 clean sheet and 2 1-0 wins in a row. They definitely will be hoping that they can climb out of the bottom 3 over this weekend, and they can do that if results do go their way, and preferably they need a win. A point won't do it. They definitely need to win and hope results go their way, and West Brom could get out of the bottom 3. They however face a Stoke team where it's so typical of Stoke. They go through really poor form and then all of a sudden now they start picking up form again. They managed to get a really good win over Luton Town in midweek, where I think there was a lot of distractions mentally for Luton Town. So, understandably, I think Luton weren't prepared, and I probably should have factored that in my predictions. But with this game, though, West Brom have worked defensively, and they are starting to score a couple more goals. I still think it could be worked on. But I think West Brom will edge it by 1-0. I think it's going to be a very, very tight game. Let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. Next game today is Wigan versus Blackpool. Wigan are in the worst form in the Championship as of now, with 4 defeats in their last 5 games. They face a Blackpool team where they've lost 3 games in a row. So both teams not doing particularly well with their recent form, but with their performances, both have shown glimpses of it. But the thing is about Wigan, I saw them against Coventry midweek, and they definitely were very much trying to park the bus and try and hit on the brake, and they didn't really do so successfully. Coventry barely flinched, I've got to be honest. And with Blackpool, ultimately they conceded early, and then that was definitely going to put them in the back foot. I think if Blackpool can control the game in a big period of it, I think they will get a chance to get all 3 points here. As a prediction, based on the squads in front of them, I've got a little bit more faith with Blackpool actually. I'm actually going to go for a 2-1 victory. Blackpool picked up a couple of good away wins. Wigan having the worst home form in the league is practically why I've not backed them here. So I'll go for a 2-1 Blackpool. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Final game to predict, guys, is the Lancashire derby, Burnley versus Blackburn. And that will conclude the first half of the Championship season, and the World Cup will officially start. And what a game to close off this first half of the season. It's first versus second. You could not write this. They must have known what they were doing when they were making the fixture list. With 38 points and 36 points, whoever wins this game, if any team will be top of the Championship going into the World Cup. Burnley definitely will be the favourites for me. Their away form has not been particularly strong for Blackburn. Burnley have been naturally good all over the field, and I think Burnley might squeak a win here. I think it'll be tight. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Burnley. I think they'll squeak a win here. Let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. So guys, that is my predictions for match day 21 of the Championship. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys always predict your games as well so you can get involved in the prediction league. That'll wrap it up for today. If you guys enjoyed, please give the video a like. It just reminds you. Please do hit that subscribe button. It really helps. And please share the channel too. All of those things really help. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.